365.
Coppa Italia.
Welcome back to our coverage from San Siro of the Coppa Italia tie between Inter and Benevento. The Serie A side getting the better of the team, currently 23 places below them in the Italian football pecking order by 3-0. Inter are going to make a change at half-time with their comfortable lead in place. A reminder that we will be bringing you live coverage of the Super Coppa Italia between the double winners Juventus and the team they beat in last season's Coppa Italia final, AC Milan, from Wednesday evening at 5:15 BT Sport 1. Matteo Politano is being introduced at half-time, and it is the man who scored the game's opening goal, Mauro Icardi, who has made way. Perhaps no surprise that Inter's talisman is being rested in the second half with his team already 3 goals to the good. Hush descends again around San Siro as we get underway in the second half. One or two of those who are here still making their way back to their seats. What can Benevento do in this second half to perhaps make the scoreline look a little bit more favourable from their point of view? Well, the effort is well off Padelli's target from Massimo Coda, who's having an afternoon to forget thus far.
He is, unfortunately, but he is certainly their man this season. And there he had a really good opportunity as well. A good start, nice bright attack from Benevento, but he couldn't hit the target. I think as for Icardi as well, I was surprised actually started the game, because certainly he's the one that you want to look after, but he's off.
The man who replaced him, Politano, just beaten to the loose ball by Lorenzo Montipo. Benevento's goalkeeper on loan from Navarra. Letizia Fotello. Coda. Buonaiuto. Straight at Padelli.
It was, but good play again. You can see how many men are flying into the box as well. Good runs from midfield, but now look, space is there. Into counter very quickly with Perisic.
Perisic, who created the third goal, the goal that feels like the clinching goal. And this time his delivery is cut out by Montipo. Tello for Insigne. You can get him on the ball, Benevento. He's shown a real desire, Insigne, to take the game to Inter when he can. He's putting the pressure on Skriniar now. There's just been a composure about Inter which has given you the impression that they are comfortable with anything they need to deal with. Politano for Perisic into a really good area, and that's 4-0, and that's another lovely Inter goal. Martinez with the finishing touch this time, but when they've needed to, Inter, they've really turned on the style, and 4-0 is now the margin of their advantage.
What a move, my goodness. Right from the back with Skriniar. He's getting closed down nice and comfortably. Instead, he plays his way out on the counter-attack. Politano does well just to leave it for Perisic. Just chips up the ball beautifully to the back post. And Martinez, who'll be delighted with that, inside his marker. Heads it down for a very easy goal.
His fourth since joining from Racing Club in July. Scored on Boxing Day in that 1-0 win over Napoli. A precious goal to earn his team 3 Serie A points on that occasion. It's nothing more than a flourish this evening to add to the scoreline. Inter already comfortably ahead, but they've started the second half as they ended the first by scoring a goal to further add comfort to a scoreline that was already a little bit flattering for them, but they've just demonstrated that when the chances have come their way, Inter, they've got the quality to take them. I can't think of one that they've missed.
No, you have to have sympathy, don't you, for Benevento, because I think they've been plucky. They've certainly played half decently, but you're right, quality is certainly with Inter. I mean, that move was fantastic. That was right from the back. Pace, power, precision, a beautiful cross and an excellent finish. And now Benevento, well, hopefully they just go and enjoy themselves, and let's hope they get a consolation.
Buonaiuto trying to take on both Gagliardini and Vrsaljko. It'll be a throw-in. Whilst their approach has been admirable, at what points do Benevento realise that they can't play quite so expansively and perhaps make sure that they're not on the end of a real drubbing?
Well, I think their ship's already sailed because they keep flying forward. That was the thing. And at the start of the second half there, we saw how positive they were. Of course, they get then carved open quite easily and counter-attack. Well, in to take advantage again.
Tello cut out by Vrsaljko. Coda. Bandinelli's efforts. He was the player that scored the goal that got them this far, the winner against Cittadella.
Opened up for him as well, but it's far too wild and wide here. There's no doubt he's onside, but that's a great cross, isn't it? Perisic just chip it up to the far post. Martinez is on the move, tucks it away.
Bandinelli taking the Benevento free kick. Forward by Tuia, here's Coda. Angle was against him, he was in an offside position anyway. Might be one or two on the interbench chomping at the bit to get an opportunity. Such has been the pedestrian nature of how they've been able to score their goals.
I think you're right, and also after a short winter break, nice to get some minutes into the legs of a few players that haven't played too much or have been injured, the likes of Nangolan.
Perisic, Politano, Brozovic, Candreva for Perisic. Brozovic, the target of the pass, and now the break is on for Benevento. Insigne. Still going, Roberto Insigne. And it's needed saving by Daniele Pedelli.
He's been lively, hasn't he? Every time he's picked the ball up, been nice and positive, driving runs, skipping past people. Here it's 2 on 4. Well, they're certainly up against it, but that was a really decent effort.
Buonaiuto has gone across to take the corner. Perisic dealing with the delivery and then gets it back to clear. Tello forward for Insigne. Still taking the game to Inter, and the opportunity presents itself, and yet another effort whistling just over Pedelli's crossbar.
Oh, a decent strike, unfortunately just too high, but again nice and positive. 3 men running into the box. Well, you have to admire the way they're sticking at it, absolutely.
Yeah, certainly Christian Buonaiuto has been as intent as anybody to ask questions of the Inter defence. Coda. Insigne. Dealt with by Ranocchia. It's difficult to say the way that those who have managed to get inside the stadium are scattered around it, but can't help but feel that one or two decided to head home with the 3-0 half-time scoreline. There wasn't much of an atmosphere in the first half, and there's even fewer voices to be heard so far in the second.
Well, all you can hear, of course, is the players shouting at each other out there, which is a strange one.
Perisic. Poop was raised. Anti on the receiving end. Candreva apologises.
Just studs from Candreva, as you can see, high. I always find that difficult because both players are going for the ball. Both are lifting their boots, but one, of course, has his studs showing and one doesn't.
Martinez unable to bring the ball under control. Thumped away by Tuia. Insigne inviting Di Chiara forward. Padelli deals really well with the cross.
Yes, she had to, because it was going to Coda, wasn't it, at the back post, so good goalkeeping, but yet again, Benevento now need to get back, get in their formation, but Inter very comfortable on the ball now.
Knocked out in the quarter-finals last season, Inter in a derby against Milan, a game that and all the way down to the 120 minutes. Already know that Lazio await them in the last 8 this time. Back in your day, of course, Tony, your time with Torino, Coppa Italia was played over 2 legs all the way through, just the semi-final now that's home and away.
Yes, that's right, and I suppose the interest, certainly in the early rounds, wasn't quite there. Once, of course, you got closer and closer, it did start to build up, of course, but certainly for Inter, I think you're right. This is a trophy they can win, isn't it?
Gagliardini's ball forward. It's broken for Lautaro Martinez. Harmlessly onto the top of the net.
Martinez didn't quite wrap his foot around it to get it back and in play, but if you think, of course, Juventus clear at the top, City are gone, I think the Coppa Italia for Inter would be a really good piece of silverware, if, of course, Juventus want to let that one go, because they got a stranglehold on that as well.
Tello. Now here's a chance. Free kick for the challenge by Brozovic. Challenge perhaps that he felt like he needed to make.
It's actually the first touch, I think, is a really poor one. Brozovic, you're right, had to come back and made an awkward challenge, but there it's caught underneath. Bonaiuto, I think it is. He really should have got it out of his feet and had a chance at goal.
And now an opportunity presents itself for Benevento. They have deserved the goal for their efforts, for their industry, and there's any number of candidates who feel that this is their sort of range. Just wonder whether Insigne is going to pull rank. Will be Roberto Insigne. Lovely free kick. And Benevento have a goal that they most certainly deserve.
Absolutely, but Padelli there must be having a go at his wall, because how did it go through? So he didn't go up and over, but you're quite right. I think Benevento, they have played pretty well. They deserve something from this. 4-1. More of a fair reflection on the game. And here we see, actually does go around perfectly into the bottom corner. Great effort.
Whether or not the wall was positioned in the right place or not,
Well,
Roberto
you're
Insigne
right.
deserves credit for managing to shape the shot around it.
Yeah, you're right, but normally the keeper should be lining it up, and of course they always put one man outside the wall, so if you are going to go that side, you really have to bend it a long way. That didn't seem quite right, did it, the wall? But even so, technically a really good free kick.
Scored in the early round game, the second round win over third tier Imolese did Roberto Insigne. He's added one in the last 16 against Inter. Perisic's delivery just behind for a goal kick. Unable to preserve a clean sheet. Luciano Spalletti's side had come into this game having kept clean sheets in each of the last 2 league games of 2018 and indeed in 3 of the last 4. But you would have to be a particularly miserly Inter fan to have suggested that the Benevento approach hasn't at least warranted getting on the score sheet today.
Yes, because what they haven't done, of course, is they played 3 at the back, 5 in midfield. They haven't stuck them defensively, making sure there's no space. They've actually broken from midfield, trying to get forward every opportunity. They've left space. They deserve something for their adventure.
Gagliardini. Politano. Not a bad effort. He's just always fading away from the target.
Well, since he's come on at half-time, he hasn't had too many touches, but this was an excellent one. Gets it out of his feet, and unfortunately, just wrong shape on the ball. Always going away from goal.
Half-time introduction of Matteo Politano, meaning he has maintained his run of being involved in every single game in all competitions for Inter this season.
I suppose the former Politano as well certainly has limited the options for Candreva to play.
Gagliardini. Martinez was the target. Tello. Improta continuing to play with freedom. Benevento, despite the deficit in by Insigne, but not clear by Vasalco. Dalbert helping it on its way, but not for long. Rejuvenated perhaps Benevento by the goal back. Tello spotted his run. It needs dealing with by Ranocchia. Dalbert under pressure by Letizia, who dispossesses him. Tello into a good area, albeit one that was only occupied by Candreva. Improta. Coda. Harmlessly across the face of goal.
Well, Inter need to switch back on, don't they? Because at the moment they're just trying to cruise through this game, and Benevento aren't letting them. Here's the goal again. The ball jumped, but actually it went around the wall into that bottom corner. Patelli motionless in the goal. Perfect.
Hasn't had too many opportunities at the big venues of Italian football, despite his long association with Napoli. Roberto Insigne, this is the 6th different loan that he's been on, spent last season with Parma. Bonaiuto dispossessed and then sends Candreva tumbling. Dalbert. Politano for Skriniar. Skriniar tempted forward. Perisic. He's continued his run, by the way, Skriniar. Perisic's delivery, though, is turned behind by Tuia.
Yeah, Skriniar, nice and positive play. Once he does pick it up, just plays it out to Perisic, gets into the box as well. Just need to get back to keeping the ball. Move it nice and quickly, and of course, making sure you recover the ball quickly as well.
Marcelo Brozovic's corner, claimed by Montipo, without any pressure to contend with. Took over towards the back end of last year as Benevento's number one, Lorenzo Montipo from Christian Puglioni. Letizia at the other end, winning Benevento a corner.
Well, a good run as well. End-to-end stuff, isn't it? Physically demanding this game because so much space out there. Both sides on the attack and defending. Benevento just will not lie down.
Bonaiuto's corner. Recovered by Improta. Deflection on the cross. Takes it towards Padelli. Possession conceded by Inter. Here's De Chiara. It has been a little bit more lackadaisical from Inter since they made it 4-0. Perisic going for a wander, but swapping passes and releasing Candreva. Flag stayed down. Politano wants the delivery back into the path of Perisic. Lautaro Martinez, and that is a fifth into goal. A second for Martinez, and 5-1 is now the Inter lead.
Now that's an excellent finish. Had to be very precise to find that bottom corner. It's a good run. Perisic is the one that started it. There, Aiuto is actually just about playing him on. And when Candreva does get his head up, back to Perisic. They're asking for a foul there, but I think the ball's already going on to Lautaro Martinez. And what about that finish? Precision. His second.
Four-goal lead restored. Yellow card is out. Assume for the nature of the protests that followed that fifth goal. Perisic is withdrawn. Borja Valero, who celebrated his 34th birthday yesterday, comes on in his place.
Well, no doubt Perisic has done his job. Great effort there, setting up the fifth goal as well. And Valero, well, he'll come on and hopefully get on the ball and really just control things for Inter now.
Well, still, Benevento contest the awarding of the goal, arguing the case over the fifth goal to quite this extent. Seems unusual, but referee Antonio Guia is just getting a little bit of advice from the video assistant referee. Confirmation that it was Lorenzo Montipo, the Benevento goalkeeper, who was showing the yellow card in the aftermath. Go, confirmation, 5-1 it is. The second Lautaro Martinez goal of the evening stands, and Inter have restored their 4-goal advantage that was only very, very briefly reduced by the Insigne free kick. Not to be deterred though, here comes Improta. Well dealt with again by Padelli.
And still they come. It is impressive, I have to say. They just will not go away. Inter want to take it easy. Benevento are not letting them.
Yeah, if there's an unwritten rule about downing tools,
Exactly,
then Benevento have not been advised of it. Well, this was what the video assistant referee was checking, but Candreva, as you can see, judging his run and the arc of it to perfection. There was some quite long interventions earlier today by the video assistant referee in the Torino-Fiorentina tie that was eventually won by 2 late goals by Fiorentina. Now,
I think he could be looking at the foul by Bandinelli on Gagliardini. Gagliardini went down, clutching his head. There we see it. Down he goes. Well, for me, that's more of a collision and a coming together. No problems there.
If anything, Bandinelli was protecting himself
Absolutely,
rather than looking to cause harm to an opponent. It's good to get these things cleared up, the benefits of the VAR system.
I think it was done quickly, then absolutely right. No problems at all. It's just when it takes a bit of time, no one really knows, why they're doing it. And of course, the crowd, not that there is a crowd today, of course, but they're bypassed, aren't they, in it all?
Well, I think if you follow your continental football with us here on BT Sport, you'd have seen in the Bundesliga in Germany that they really do seem to have got the measure of the system now. More often than not, things are dealt with swiftly and pretty clearly. Not quite so smooth yet in the second season in Italian football, but these things always do take a little bit of ironing out.
Yeah, they do, and it's certainly smoother than the first season. My goodness, we had to wait, and we left out the loop for long periods then, but no, it certainly has got a lot better.
Bandinelli unable to keep the ball in play. I think the big challenge for the officials is that they are using the sort of technology that highly trained TV personnel have got used to over the last few years, and what you're asking is a small team of officials to try and work with the similar sort of efficiency that television production staff would do in terms of the broadcasting of live football, and that is why it sometimes takes a little bit of time just to go through the process of getting the right replays and getting the right angles to look at these things. Free kick to Benevento. We're determined that they will not allow Inter to see out the final 18 minutes or so with ease, despite the size of their lead. Chiara leaves it. Brozovic blocks it. And now Vasalco charging clear. Bojavalero. First time for Candreva to chase. All the way through to Montipo.
Great idea, just a bit straight, wasn't it, for Candreva? I look at this Benevento side, and I don't think they're built to come to a place like this and defend, are they? Simple as that. They play their natural game. And so, is it brave? Is it silly? Well, they've come here to try and enjoy themselves, and they found themselves on the end of, unfortunately, a bit of a hiding, but they've actually played a lot better than that.
Insigne. Corner kick off Vasalco, charging down Bonaiuto's cross. Towards the back post where Improto was the target. Letizia with the swing and a miss, and there's another goal back for Benevento. Well, they are getting their rewards as they continue to push, and it's Bandinelli heading it into the back of the net. And you have to say, they've come to enjoy themselves, and who would begrudge them a couple of goals at the end of the day for that?
No, absolutely right. They've been nice and positive. Inter, well, they're switching off, simple as that. Benevento punished them. It really was a good goal. Bandinelli gets in front of Brozovic, gets up high, directs it perfectly past Padelli. I've actually enjoyed watching them play, I really have. Delighted they've got a couple of goals. Inter, of course, are the class act, but Benevento, very impressed.
Well, the one player perhaps who hasn't quite delivered as we might have anticipated from a Benevento point of view, Massimo Coda, has been withdrawn, and on in his place is Federico Ricci, on loan from Sassuolo. Had a spell with Roma as well, so there's a little bit of quality about what he can contribute.
Actually, you're right, and I thought Coda, he seemed to be the one playing with pressure. I thought he certainly snatched a couple of chances and didn't really show what he could do.
Gagliardini. Not the best option that was available to him.
No, certainly not, but he's onside. Bandinelli is played on by Brozovic at the far post.
Insigne in pursuit. Skriniar, though, dealing with it. It's actually Skriniar and his centre-back partner today, Ranocchia, who scored the goals in this game when it was a league fixture last season, a 2-0 win for Inter. Both sets of players have played with considerably more freedom on this occasion. Placing the last 8 of the Coppa Italia at stake rather than 3 points. Skriniar again with Bonaiuto looking to dispossess him. Was a little bit too physical in that challenge, although I'm not sure Skriniar takes any credit from being out-muscled by Bonaiuto.
Well, I think he actually, yeah, you're right, bought the free kick quite well. There's no one better in possession than Skriniar at the back. We saw that with build-up to the 4th goal. And to be fair, I think he's one of the best centre-halves around. Certainly on the ball.
14 minutes remaining at the Giuseppe Meazza. Mprota. Still going. And charged down in the end by Ranocchia. Tello. Ricci. Insigne. If they get another one back, they might start getting ideas above their station.
Well, I was just thinking, actually, it's a great attitude. They actually believe, you know what, there's 14 minutes left, we can get 3 here.
And Brozovic has conceded a free kick. Unrelenting from the Serie B team. Letizia forward. Great cross, and Ricci probably should have taken the touch towards goal rather than the dummy, unaware that there wasn't a teammate behind him.
What was he doing? He's a sub that's just come on. He's replaced the top scorer in Coda. He's got a great opportunity and he dummies it.
Bandinelli with the foul on Borja Valero. Still to come today in the Coppa Italia, another last 16 tie. Napoli Sassuolo from 7:30 over on BT Sport 2. Here on BT Sport 1 and on 4K UHD this evening from the south of France. A derby of sorts between Marseille and Monaco. Not the big derby for either club, but certainly an intense rivalry from 7:45. An FA Cup 3rd round replay on Tuesday evening, BT Sport 2 and 4K UHD. Blackburn host Newcastle from 7:30. And from the Premier League, next Saturday evening, 5 o'clock our coverage here on BT Sport 1. And in 4K UHD as well. A London derby as Arsenal host Chelsea. Borja Valero for Skriniar. Gagliardini. Politano. Brozovic forward. Tello. Dalbert in pursuit. Tuia puts it out of play for a throw.
That's cramp, absolutely. I think everyone from Benevento has worked extremely hard up and down the pitch, and now's the time you're going to start feeling it.
Thankfully, Alessandro Tuia, making his Benevento debut this evening, isn't down for long. Joined last summer from Salernitana, where he'd spent the previous 6 seasons, but has had to be very patient for his opportunity.
He's played well. A couple of last-ditch challenges. Sounds silly to say when you've conceded 5.
Well, that's judged to have been a stumble by Improta rather than a foul. Show of dissent towards the referee goes unpunished. Dalbert. Candreva. Good progress, Candreva, but his cross is comfortably dealt with in the end. Borja Valero. Dalbert up against Bandanelli, scorer of Benevento's second goal. Dalbert winning it back. Politano. Gagliardini couldn't quite reach it. Borja Valero can. In again. Brozovic. Well, Inter have played within themselves so often, but when required, they've just been able to exact some pressure. The Salco. Martinez on a hat-trick was the target. Now the break is on. Ricci on the overlap, he's a little bit unfortunate. The ball just cannons off him and out of play for a throw-in. Brozovic, the player, coming off, on in his place. João Mario. So a change in the defensive midfield positions. Probably not the sort of change that Luciano Spalletti would have envisaged he'd have needed to make with 8 minutes remaining against Serie B opposition, but just needs a fresh pair of legs in that position. And now Tuia, the player we saw a moment ago suffering with the effects of cramp, is replaced by Jean-Claude Billon, who will slot in alongside Anti at the heart of that Benevento defence. João Mario tumbles, and his first involvement is to win a free kick.
I'm sure João Mario also thought, I'm going to come on with 7 minutes to go. We're 3 goals up. This has got to be a bit of a cruise, but still, Benevento snapping at his heels.
Improta. It seems strange to even think this, let alone say it, but it's the team that's got the 3-goal advantage that wants to hear the full-time whistle, isn't it? Not the one coming from so far behind.
You're right, it's been a strange game, but a thoroughly entertaining game. And I think you made a good point in that Inter, when they did wake up, they can step up a gear or two, can't they? And we've seen that. They scored some very good goals, but Benevento, they have just never given up.
pesky opponent who has refused to be put away. Inter have thought on, what, 3, 4 or 5 occasions that they've finished off their opponent, and probably got to the stage now where it is they who would rather get the opportunity to draw a line under it rather than the team that at times look like they might be humbled but have never allowed that to happen. Benevento, a credit to themselves and to the quality at the top of Serie B, and showing the sort of determination that might just get them back into the top flight come the end of the season. Well, Aiuto has done as much running as anybody, and he is withdrawn for the final 5 minutes. And it is just a second senior appearance for a 17-year-old Ivorian, Seriki Sanogo, on, and a nice touch for the Benevento youth team player to get a chance to play at San Siro.
Yes, absolutely. Came on for a few minutes near the end. What an experience for him.
Made his debut just before Christmas in the 3-0 win over Crotone as a late substitute. Got 3 minutes then. He's going to get at least 5 today. Scoreline might look emphatic. Inter have had to work really hard for it. Dalbert, good cross. Would have been a lovely goal, a really classy way to complete a hat-trick if Martinez had made the contact he was trying to make.
You're right, because if he actually just side-footed it, I think he would have had more chance of just nestling in the back of the net, but it went for the spectacular to brilliant ball initially from Skriniar down the left to Dalbert. Almost number 6, but not quite.
De Chiara. Gianmario. Politano. Gianmario in a tangle with Anti.
Here we see the ball from Skriniar, timed at perfection. And Dalbert looks up, just pulls it back to the on-running Martinez, who goes for the flying volley, but not quite.
Bilong. Just shrugs off.
He's got some strength, hasn't he?
Tello. Sanogo, first touch since his introduction. Insigne. Ricci. Going to go around Vesalco. He stuck to the task. And is adamant that his was not the final touch.
Well, Ricci's tried to take him on, but Vesalco's right. Should have been a goal kick.
Si raccomanda agli spettatori di prestare attenzione a non lasciare in custodia.
To be a further consolation for Benevento.
Sottoposto a controlli e se necessario con il supporto delle forze dell'ordine.
Anti's header. Just couldn't get the power and direction required. Politano. Jamario. Tello. And he is fouled. Benevento free kick. Well, it's been a really good workout for both sets of players, and it'll be a 90 minutes that will whet the appetite for Benevento to return to Serie A, give them the impetus, perhaps the inspiration to push on and try and get themselves into the top two in Serie B. Not too many of those involved today were with the club last season for their maiden top-flight campaign. So it's definitely a carrot that has been dangled, this opportunity to play at Giuseppe Meazza and at times go toe-to-toe with one of the best in the business.
Well, at least they've been brave enough, you're quite right, to go toe-to-toe. Thoroughly enjoyed the way they play. Let's hope they have a good fist of it now.
Insigne. Straight at Padelli.
And still they try. I think he's been impressive, hasn't he, Insigne? He's certainly a quality player. I think a lot will rest on him towards the end of this season. He can certainly perform like he has tonight. They'll go close.
They can play like this at Lecce next Saturday. And they stand a really good chance of continuing to close the gap on the top two. It's a 3-point advantage that Brescia in second have over Benevento at this moment in time. 18 games into the Serie B season. Borja Valero into 4 minutes of additional time. 4 minutes that Inter will be the team willing to pass as quickly as possible. Dalbert. Really made to work hard for their victory today. The team third in Serie A. Not been anything like as one-sided as they thought it might have been when they found themselves 2 goals up inside 7 minutes. Retain the element of control, but at the same time have been having to swat away wave after wave of enthusiastic Benevento attacks. Letizia. Away by Ranocchia. Letizia again. Flicked on by Ricci. And Salico decides that he's not going to be able to shepherd that one behind for a goal kick. Sanogo. Oh, he's decided he's going to try and make a name for himself.
Well, and why not? The young man's just come on. His left foot. The greatest of strikes straight at the keeper, but on target. You don't try, you don't get.
Obilon has been dispossessed, but only momentarily by Martinez. Gagliardini. Jamario. Candreva. Smart save from Montipo. Candreva again. Politano. Target, but never able to get the better of the Benevento defence. Tello has been fouled. Other than being taken from the wrong place and with a moving ball, there was not an awful lot wrong with that.
Apart from that, it's fine. And still they try and go forward, and still they're rushing the play. It's great to see. Candreva, it's a great first touch, isn't it, to bring it back inside. I expected it to be nestled in the back of the net, but good save.
final 30 seconds of what has been a last 16 tie in the Coppa Italia, full of entertainment, an awful lot of fun to watch, and certainly the Benevento players have enjoyed themselves.
Yeah, and it's such a shame that the fans unfortunately haven't been allowed in to watch this game.
Politano, Candreva, still going, really good run, Antonio Candreva, and what a lovely way to finish the contest. Candreva's second of the evening, and into sixth is the final action in the game. Well, it's a scoreline perhaps that flatters the Serie A side, but we've seen some moments of real quality from them. And Antonio Candreva has added the final flourish to what has been a very entertaining evening and a thoroughly enjoyable cup tie. One that Inter led 3-0 at the break through Icardi's penalty, Candreva's first, and a splendid finish from Dalbert, but Benevento simply would not be put away even after Martinez made it 4-0. Insigne's free kick reduced the arrears. Martinez then made it 5-1 to get his second of the day. Bandinelli's header made it 5-2 until Candreva on the break, helping himself to another goal, and having scored just twice in very nearly 2 years, he's got a second this evening. Nothing that Montipo could do about that. Well done, Inter. We know the first quarter-final of the Coppa Italia. They will face Lazio. But congratulations to Benevento for the part they played in a hugely enjoyable Coppa Italia tie that has finished 6-2 in favour of Inter. Certainly the pick of the ties so far. Lazio brushed Novara aside on Saturday afternoon. AC Milan eventually getting the better, courtesy of 2 extra-time Patrick Clatone goals against Sampdoria. And Juve beating Bologna by the same scoreline later on Saturday evening. Fiorentina managed to get the job done just inside 90 minutes against Torino earlier today. And Inter's 6-2 win over Benevento sends them through to the last 8. Napoli Sassuolo still to come this evening, and then it's Cagliari against Atalanta, and Roma and Tella still to come tomorrow. Well, a reminder that Napoli Sassuolo is coming up a little later over on BT Sport 2. Here on BT Sport 1 and 4K UHD, Marseille against Monaco is our offering from Liga. And then we round things up for the Coppa Italia last 16 with Cagliari Atalanta, followed by Roma against third tier Entella on BT Sport 1 tomorrow. Not many were inside San Siro to see it. Those who were, I'm sure, will be going home very happy with the entertainment on offer. It's Luciano Spalletti.